Welcome back to the game plan for episode 12. Noah Muller here. A lot has happened since the last time we checked up on the NFL world. Let's take a small look on how free agency in the offseason has gone. Okay, so we're going to start off here with a more recent signing, but wide receiver Stefon Diggs, coming off a torn ACL injury from the Texans, has signed with the New England Patriots on a 3-year, $69 million max deal. And, I mean, the Patriots have needed a big receiver for a while, ever since pretty much Edelman left, and I mean, this is their guy. This is Stefon Diggs, no matter how old he is, no matter what injury he just went through, it's still Stefon Diggs. And it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back into the AFC East, being that he played for the Bills just 2 years ago. But I think this is definitely a good signing for the Patriots. I don't know if I would have paid him as much as they did. I mean, $23 million a year is not the greatest for an older receiver. But nonetheless, Patriots did make a big move. They've made a couple big moves this offseason, and I could see them as a legit playoff team, and this is really going to help the development of Drake May over time. I'd say this is a good signing. Next up, still on the receiver topic here, the Bengals, both the receivers, Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, have both kind of been in jeopardy as to are they going to get paid, what's going to happen to them, because the Bengals can't put another franchise tag on T. Higgins. Well, we got the answer to that question. They both got paid huge contracts, and they're both staying in Cincinnati. Ja'Marr Chase got 4 years, $161 million, which is almost $40 million a year, which is an unbelievable contract for him. It's great for him. And then T. Higgins got a pretty nice deal, too. 4 years, $115 million. And I think this is a good move by the Bengals. I don't know if you have much room to sign any O-linemen now and really fix the actual problems. But, I mean, these are two great young players, and I see no issue with the Bengals signing them again. And I don't really see an overpay considering the talent of each player. We're going to move to the quarterback side of free agency now. We got four bigger quarterbacks who have been signed to deals, starting with Justin Fields going to the New York Jets on a 2-year, $40 million deal, which I thought was a pretty great deal for the Jets. Getting a guy like Justin Fields is going to be big for them, and hopefully they can turn it around. I never really know what to say with these things, especially with the Jets, but it seems like a good signing. It's better than signing an older quarterback and drafting someone in free agency. You just get your guy right there, drafting someone in the draft. You kind of just get your guy right there. And, I mean, Fields is a very underrated quarterback. I'm going to be excited to see what they do with him. Next up, Russell Wilson going to the New York Giants on a one-year, $10.5 million contract, which I thought was I thought it was an all right signing by the Giants. Considering they had already signed a guy I'm just about to talk about in a minute, I didn't really see the purpose in doing this. I mean, nonetheless, don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson is a fun player, but he's getting older now. I think he's about 36 years old. He didn't have the greatest season with the Steelers, and I really didn't see a point in it. We're going to move over here to Seattle, where the Seahawks have signed quarterback Sam Darnold to a 3-year, $100.5 million contract, and I think this is a huge overpay. I think Darnold, he had a great season, but it's only one good season compared to his entire career. I didn't really see the value there with Sam Darnold, and I think this is a little bit of an overpay for Seattle. They do get the replacement for getting rid of Geno Smith, but nonetheless, I don't think it was the greatest move. And the final quarterback we're going to talk about here is Jameis Winston going to the New York Giants before Russell Wilson did. That's why I said I didn't really see a point in it. He goes for 2 years, $8 million. And I thought Jameis Winston was a lot better of a signing than Russell Wilson was, considering Winston's a little bit younger. He got paid a little bit less. And I just thought it was a much better signing for the Giants. We're going to take a quick break here, but when we get back, we're going to talk about the free agent wide receivers and the rest of the free agency. Welcome back to the game plan. Next up, we are going to talk about two wide receiver moves that kind of were big breaking news to the NFL, as well as a team that I think is really building up in free agency and a team that I think might be winning free agency at this point and could make a big push next year. So starting off, we're going to talk about Davante Adams going to the Los Angeles Rams through free agency, which I thought was a great move considering what happened to the next guy I'm about to talk about. But Davante Adams, I think he's going to be more of a wide receiver too. I think Puka's really taking over that wide receiver core. But nonetheless, I mean, a guy like Davante Adams is a very consistent player. You have him, you have Puka, you have Matt Stafford throwing him the ball. I think this is a better replacement as a wide receiver too, and I think he's going to do some damage in Los Angeles, and I think this could push the Rams back to the wild card. And the next receiver is going to be Cooper Kupp, the former Ram, going to the Seahawks, staying in division, which I was kind of shocked about. But I thought Kupp was a great receiver. I thought he was one of the better ones in this free agency class just due to his pure route running and his hands. And Seattle, that was one of what I would say is a great pickup for them. I didn't think the Darnold one was a good pickup. Thought it was a bit of an overpay for an average quarterback, but I think this Cooper Kupp move was great. I think he's going to do big things in the 1 or 2 seasons he might have in Seattle before he starts reaching his age limit until he has to retire. But I think Cooper Kupp was a great signing for Seattle. I think his route running is really going to help move their offense and also help develop JSN. And the final thing we're going to talk about is this team that I think could be winning free agency and could take over the NFL this season, and that being the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos have done an unbelievable job this free agency, and they've been really silent about it too. They've gotten guys like Talanoa Hufanga, Evan Ingram, and they got a whole lot of other depth pieces which could really help them push past. I mean, the first thing we're looking at here, they finally replaced the gap with Justin Simmons when he left, the safety gap, and they got Talanoa Hufanga, who I thought was unbelievable for the Niners defense the last couple of seasons. And I think he can really benefit this Broncos defense the way they run that scheme. And I mean, he's just a fast, athletic player, and he has good hands. He's a good defensive player, good zone coverage, and I thought that was a great move, as well as another offensive weapon being Evan Ingram, who's probably one of the fastest tight ends in the NFL, and his hands have developed a whole lot since he's got in the league at first. And his blocking is kind of average, I would say, but they don't really need blocking. They already have blocking tight ends like Adam Troutman. And I thought this was a great move for the Broncos. I think Evan Ingram, he could play the slot as a receiver. He could play at the tight end position. I mean, he can just move, and he's an offensive motor, and that's really what the Broncos have needed. They had Courtland Sutton, who didn't really get it done. He has great hands, don't get me wrong, but he isn't really that, star-studded player, and Ingram is more of a star-studded player in terms of the way he catches the ball and how he moves after the catch. That'll be it for the game plan. Next episode, we'll be talking more about the MLB as today is opening day and the NFL offseason. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.